Hello, YouTube world. Hello. So, I've just had a lot of thoughts running through my head, and I want to get them out. Um, First of all, I just did a live stream where I was um, rebroadcasting a little clip, a little excerpt from another YouTuber, somebody who has a YouTube channel called Write Conscious, write as in like the act of writing, Write. And he was recommending books to read for those who are interested in the history of World War II, and pointing out that really most of the way that the social understanding of most issues changes over time, but with World War II, it really hasn't. And that is that they're not getting from me, but they are. They are. I'm going to wait for YouTube to stop having a conniption fit. It's the same. I just did a live stream featuring this other YouTuber talking, and it's identical. The internet connection, I can see it. I have a display on my screen showing me how strong my internet connection is, and it has not changed. My internet connection has not changed. Even as YouTube is saying that they're saying that it has changed and that it's not enough. This is something that YouTube does, I believe, to suppress my content. So when it wasn't me speaking, there was no issue. When I'm speaking, all of a sudden, YouTube isn't receiving enough data. Things that make you go, they're not putting the warning message off, so I'm just going to have to proceed. I'm fully confident that there's no problem with my internet connection and that anyone who would be listening or watching this would not have a problem. That said, I don't expect anyone to listen or watch because YouTube suppresses my content. So, but no, I was just listening to this YouTuber. I haven't read the book. He was recommending that people should read a book called Europe Central, and that it's gives a really in-depth look at the war, but from like key participants' perspectives, and really examines the impact of the violence of the war, which of course, I mean, war is a fundamentally violent activity, right? And I loved the quote in there. People who usually would click on a World War II video on YouTube don't want to hear about the war from some cross-dressing maniac in California. But that's precisely who they need to hear about it from. People need to open up their minds. I would agree with that sentiment. I mean, I'm not an advocate of well, I would just say, like, people need to open up their minds. And yeah, you're going to learn something. The only way you're going to learn something new is if you interact with something you're not expecting, that you don't have, that if you drop your preconceived notions and just take something in for what it is. And you might be surprised at what you learn. And I think that is words of wisdom that can apply to every human being on the planet, regardless of what your preconceived notions are, regardless what your biases are, whatever they may be, wherever you sit on the political spectrum, whatever you are. Like, it's helpful to put those to the side and just open your mind up to something that you would normally be closed off from, and just hear it out for what it is. That is one of the most powerful ways that you can learn something new, right? Whereas if you don't do that, you're always just getting more and more and more of what you already know. So then you're not going to be learning. So I thought I liked that, and I liked that he was talking about that this person is an eccentric, and that what makes the book so great is that he's not afraid to take risks, and he can write about things that other writers would find difficult to write about, who are trying to respect preconceived notions of the war. So, I mean, I want to read the book now. It sounds like a fascinating book, and I mean, that is what we need, though. That is what whether you're talking about books or music or like acting, movies, whatever the art form may be, the way that you're going to get compelling new art is from people who are not afraid to take risks. And somebody was just I heard somewhere, I can't remember where I heard this, but or maybe I read it, but somebody was expressing the opinion that what the world needs today is another what's his name? The guy from Nirvana. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. The guy, the lead singer for Nirvana. What's his fucking name? Oh my god! Like I know it. I'm just drawing a blank. What is his fucking name? It's driving me insane now. Kurt Cobain. Yeah, we need another Kurt Cobain. Like the music scene needs another Kurt Cobain. Yeah, we're not going to be getting one under the current situation, the way that things are. I'm not saying that I'm anywhere close to Kurt Cobain, but I just put out a video yesterday, a new one that I made for a song by No Doubt. It's called "Don't Let Me Down," and in it, I've made the video from paintings done by Vincent van Gogh, animated paintings. I mean, that's the thing now. Animated paintings by Vincent van Gogh. And it's excellent. The video is excellent. I've wanted to put that song to a video for a long time, but I haven't had the right inspiration. Sometimes you just have to wait for the right moment to strike. And I found these paintings, animated paintings, and I was like, okay, that's what I want. And for that song. And but how I did that, how I stumbled upon that was during a live stream that I was doing of my content, some of my content, and then other stuff I'm borrowing, right? But I was doing a live stream of my stuff, and yet last night on Rumble, where there's total freedom, where you don't have to worry about copyright. You don't have to worry about, am I going to get banned or locked or blocked? The channel will get blocked. I might get a strike, if I say the wrong thing, or if an image of a gun is shown on the screen, or if an image, I mean, YouTube comes out with wild stuff sometimes as to why they're going to restrict something. And but when you're on Rumble live streaming, you just don't even need to think about that. You have total freedom. And it was in that context that I made that video, which highlights the importance of live streaming to my creative process, but the importance of like having freedom while live streaming. And okay, and a similar thing is that I'll explain how these two things are similar. So as people may know, my really good friend Matthew passed away in September, tragically, at a very young age of 34. Unexpectedly died. And he was somebody who I collaborated quite a bit with, more than anybody else of my friends. He's in more of my videos than anybody else, and would actively work on them with me. And but he, even before he knew me, Matthew was making his own music videos. He made his own music video, which was on YouTube, from before he even met me. And he's shown it to me, and it's very impressive. And it's his own music. And I was very upset because I couldn't find it. I did not have that video. And I'm very pleased that this is one good thing about YouTube is you can go back in your history of things that you've watched. And it was by doing that, I had to really dig back months, scroll back months through months of history. But I did find the video in question. And what is it called? Well, I was live streaming that earlier today. So that's like two live streams before this one is Matthew's music video. And in it, he's called Rap Cat. That's another one of his names, also called Half Gram. That video, part of the reason that video has had very minimal exposure. Hardly anyone has seen it. And the reason why is because it's age restricted. YouTube has put an age restriction on it. But so on Matthew's own channel, the person who made the video, people can't see the video because they have to be logged into YouTube and to prove that they're an adult. But like, I'm just thinking, why? Why did YouTube put an age restriction on that? I'm just going to take a look right now because I was just live streaming it, the video in question on a repeating loop. Yeah, here, look at my screen. Look at my screen. We get this annoying video off the screen for a second. Look at the screen. And I'm somebody who is under enormous scrutiny and suppression. But in my case, it's weird, it's like, I'm over it, but you can still see. In my case, when the same content it was age restricted on the actual person who created it, his YouTube channel, it was age restricted, so hardly anybody could watch it. But when it's on my channel, here it is, it's a live stream called Half Gram, public, restrictions, none, no restrictions whatsoever. So it'll get more views on my channel than it would on the channel of the person who actually made the content. Okay? That's YouTube for you. But why? Why is there a difference? Why was it age restricted in the first place? I have no idea. But these are the kinds of things that artists, Matthew was definitely an artist. I think he was a creative genius. These are the kinds of restrictions that artists in the 21st century are dealing with. These rules that YouTube enforces, unevenly and inconsistently enforces, these rules are made up by lawyers in suits who don't have a creative bone in their bodies. Okay? So anyone who is trying to come up nowadays as an artist has to abide by these rules, essentially. So that's why there is no Kurt Cobain in 2025. That is why all the music that you hear, the new music that gets released, sucks. Because it's all gone through this filtration process from lawyers who don't have a creative bone in their bodies. So, it's not it's not about me. I'm just one minor artist in the mix of all of this. I'm pointing it out, but it's not about me. It's about all of us. It's about all of us because it's not even just about the artists. I mean, it's about art is an important thing. It's about how art is an important part of how we understand the world, make sense of the world around us. And, that's why these books are important about World War II, the novels that other YouTuber was talking about. But any of the art that that's going to be reaching any significant number of people in the current time, in our current times, is going to have to be mediated through a legal lens from people who don't have a creative bone in their bodies. And that's why all the art that gets onto a mass scale today sucks. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. Because any true artist they're not going to be able to conform to that. Kurt Cobain would not, if he was coming up today, would not be famous. There would be no band called Nirvana with hits on the radio because they'd never get past the censors. They'd be in trouble for copyright infringement with Teen Spirit, the deodorant, the company that makes that deodorant. So that's why there's no Kurt Cobain nowadays, and that's why there isn't anyone like that coming anytime soon. So if you care about art, if you care about humanity, the well-being of humanity, which art is essential for, then you would really get behind this idea that, you know what, YouTube needs a shake-up. YouTube and Google need to stop having a stranglehold on the creative process. And we need to liberate artists and creativity from YouTube, the likes of YouTube and lawyers who don't understand the creative process. If you care about the very well-being of humanity, you would get on board with that. So, evidently not too many people care about the well-being of humanity, it would seem. And that's why we're in such a rough shape as we are. But I was thinking, what am I doing here? That's the title of this live stream. Like, what am I doing on YouTube? What do I have to offer? Like, I was singing last night, and I think it was better than my singing normally is, but it's not great. I'm not a terribly, amazingly gifted singer by any stretch. I'm not an amazingly gifted visual artist by any stretch. I'm not an amazing dancer. Like, I do all of those things on YouTube, but I'm not really particularly good at any one of them. So what am I doing? What's my contribution? What am I good at? Well, I think there's one thing that I'm very good at. And that is the way that I'm able to combine lyrics in music with imagery in order to create new and sometimes unexpected understandings. So I can put a whole new interpretation onto a pop song just by the images that I choose to show on the screen while that pop song is playing. Right? Like the song Love Profusion by Madonna was released in 2003 on her album called American Life. But my video that I've made for that song shows images from the Truckers' Convoy in Canada in 2022. And it's remarkable how perfectly the images that I'm showing in that video line up with the lyrics in the song. It almost seems like Madonna wrote that song for the Truckers' Convoy. But there's no way she could have, because the Truckers' Convoy happened 19 years after the song was released. So unless she's had some psychic premonition, there was no way for Madonna to have written that song for that event. But it matches perfectly in my video, because the way I've selected the images and the way that I've timed them to come up during the lyrics in that song. And so it gives that song a whole new interpretation. And I think that's where my talent comes in. That's where my talent comes in. I'm not really a good songwriter or singer or graphics artist. I mean, I can do all those things. I dabble in all those things, but it's the way that I bring things together and that they give a new, unexpected meaning. And there's a real power in that. There's a real power in that. And I think I did that quite well yesterday. I don't always do it in music videos. I did it well yesterday in a live stream, where it's the live stream is called "Just Say No to Poppies," and in it I'm explaining why I don't wear a poppy on Remembrance Day. Okay, but I still have respect for the soldiers and the sacrifices that they've made. But I choose not to wear a poppy, and I give my experiences and reason as to why I do that in that live stream. So it's called "Just Say No to Poppies," and the image that I used for the thumbnail for that live stream is an image that says "War on Drugs." I mean, that's brilliant right there, because "Just Say No to Poppies," of course, is a play on the slogan "Just Say No to Drugs," which was a slogan in the 1980s, part of a very popular, major campaign, public awareness campaign about the pitfalls of drugs. And that was spearheaded by First Lady of the United States, Nancy Reagan. Okay, "Just Say No to Drugs" was Nancy Reagan's campaign. And anyone who was alive at that time, it became part of the popular conscience. So people automatically recognized that slogan. Okay, but I'm not saying it in this. It says "Just Say No to Poppies," and I've got an image saying "War on Drugs." So it's showing you right there. I don't even have to explain it. I don't even have to say a word, although I do touch on that, I believe, in that video. The irony of that poppies, which are used for drugs, that's where heroin comes from, are a symbol to remember war, but one of the biggest wars of our times, longest running wars of our times, it's still going on, it's been going on my whole life, is the war on drugs. So how ironic is that we think about war with a symbol, poppies, that's actually used to create the drugs that we're fighting a war against. So that's my talent, and I do it almost effortlessly, where I'm combining imagery and words, whether there be words written on a screen, in this case, or words as part of a song, lyrics, but imagery and words that create new and unexpected understandings. It's basically making memes. And I was doing that on the internet before I made videos. My Melania Trump fashion icon videos do that as well, in many ways. And so that's my talent. And that's a powerful talent, because, if you believe in magic, which, I do, it's just energy. That is a form of magic. I was just watching a video recently, and it was explaining how that is a form of magic. Now, I didn't sit here deliberately thinking that up. How am I going to work my magic on the internet? But that's what I've stumbled upon, and it's you could call it Kek magic, Kek, and which is a branch of chaos magic, and that is why I am so heavily monitored, and my content is so seriously suppressed. Like, nobody's watching this live stream right now. YouTube isn't going to let anybody watch this live stream, because they're scared. They're scared that I'm going to be combining imagery and words in unexpected ways that nobody could predict, that's going to lead to people to have new understandings. And I probably will. I do it all the time. Um, so, but I have pure intentions. I only want to uh, cause people to live their best lives and to be fulfilled and to be peaceful, not to hurt each other. And that those are my intentions. I'm not wanting to hurt anyone. Whereas I would say that the people who have a stranglehold on this kind of stuff, who want to control all of it, I don't think their intentions are as pure as mine. So, that's all. That's really all I wanted to say. And I'm feeling, I'm feeling resurgence right now. Love it. I love what I'm doing now. So that's really, and I think that getting out, they'll tell the system that there's a problem with the bit rate. It's just a hack. It's just a workaround way that they're able to suppress content. Mm. Actually, the internet connection is going down. Anyways, I better end this now then. Thank you and peace out.